Hello YouTube and welcome to another Linux tutorial. So in this video I'm going to show you how to use scp command in Linux. So are you ready? Let's get started. So as you may know, scp stands for Secure Copy Protocol. Okay, so it's protocol used in order to transfer securely files and directories between machines. Okay, so here we'll be using Linux. Okay, in order to transfer files and directories between two Linux machines. So here I have opened two terminals. So the first one here at the up is actually my Kali Linux machine, okay, which has an IP address, as you will see, .1.19. So this Kali Linux machine has .1.19 as an IP address, and at the bottom we have a remote system. Actually it's Ubuntu server, which has an IP address .1.3, as you can see here. Okay, so I'll try to copy some files and directories from my Kali Linux machine to this Ubuntu server. Okay, so first of all, let me show you the files and directories that exist in this Kali Linux machine. So here I am on my desktop directory, and if I do an ls in order to show you the files, so actually here I have two files, path.txt and user.txt, and also I have two directories in blue, as you can see here, empire and setup directories. So I will try to transfer this files and folders to this bottom server here, Ubuntu server. Okay, so in order to use the scp command, it's pretty simple. You just type scp, then the source, which is in this case path.txt, and the destination. So here of course you have to provide the username for this Ubuntu server here with IP address, and after the columns here you specify where you want to copy this file. So remember this actually syntax is pretty actually important. So the first thing is the source. So here I have the path.txt, which is on the same directory I am in right now, and after that I will provide the destination of the server, which IP address with credentials, then the column and the destination path to the destination folder where I want to copy my file. So here we go. So let's execute this command. So of course I have to provide the SSH credentials for my Ubuntu server. Here we go, and I get no error, which is a good thing. So let's verify that on my Ubuntu server. So here I am on my home/home/amino, and if I do an ls, here we go, you can see the path.txt file has been transferred. Okay, so I can actually do that with many files as you want. So the first command just transfer one file, but I can actually transfer many files as I want. So here, for example, let's also transfer the user.txt file. And here remember one thing, so the path.txt file is already transferred, so actually this command will overwrite actually the path.txt file. So remember, if the destination folder already contains the same file, it will be overwritten. So here will be actually transferring two files, path.txt and user.txt, in the same directory, which is /home/amino. So let's execute this command and see what we get. Here we go. So the two files has been transferred, so I get no error, which is always a good thing. So let's verify that with an ls command, and as you can see, the two files has been transferred to the Ubuntu server. Okay, so as I told you, I have also here a couple of two directories, empire and setup. So let's try to transfer the whole setup directory to the bottom server here. So I will use the same command, but here I will use actually a parameter which is -r for recursive, and of course I will provide the name of the directory that I want to transfer, so it is setup, and I will transfer that to the same directory /home/amine. So let's execute this command in order to transfer this time a whole actually directory. Here we go. So once again I have to provide credentials. Here we go. So now you can see the 3 files that contain this setup directory has been also transferred to the actually bottom server. So let's verify that. ls, here we go. And if I want to see the content of the setup, you can see that the 3 files also has been transferred. So with the -r, which actually stands for recursive, we transfer the whole directory to the bottom server. So remember that. Okay, so I can also provide some couple of things here. If you want to limit the bandwidth, okay, so let's say that you have a huge file and you don't want to consume the whole bandwidth of your connections, so you can actually use special parameter in the scopy command in order to limit the bandwidth of the files. So let's say that I want to transfer actually just for example this text file here, which is a path. Okay, so if I want to limit the bandwidth to just for example 15 kilobytes per second, so here I have to actually use switch -L for the limit the bandwidth. So I said 15 kilobytes per second. So here I have to provide the bandwidth in bytes. So 1 byte is 8 bits. So I have to multiply this 15 by 8 in order to get how many bits per second. So 8 multiplied by 15, it's 400. Here we go. So it's 400 bits per second. So just I don't need to actually type the definition here. So remember 14 means 40 or 4000 or actually 400 here, 400 bits per second, which is 15 kilobytes per second. Okay, so if I want to limit the bandwidth, you use this command. Here we go. And of course the file has been transferred here. Okay, but just limiting the bandwidth to 50 kilobytes per second. So remember that it's also useful switch. Okay, one last thing, you can, if you have any error or something like that, you must debug why is that happened. So if you have a failure, for example, or something like that, you can use just one switch -v for verbose mode in order to see what happening to your failure. So if you use, for example, -v for verbosing and use any command for the previous one, you can debug the messages that happen while you are copying your files to the remote server. Okay, so you can see here you have a bunch of debug messages, so that you must check if you have any error happened during the transfer of your file. So here all I have to do is to provide actually credentials, and here we go. The file has been transferred without any error because the exit status is 0. And here it gives you more details about the transfer. Okay, so remember also to use this switch here -v if you get an error and you want to check why it's happening. Okay, so SCP, it's very interesting command that you can use whenever you have some problems. Okay, or actually if you want to transfer files securely using SSH. Okay, and one last thing here, let's say that you want to do reversing. So here we are actually transferring files from the Kali Linux machine to the Ubuntu server. If you want the opposite thing, if you want to download file from a remote server, so it's pretty simple. All you have to do actually is to reverse the order here. So let's say that I want, for example, here to download the file from Ubuntu server. if I want to download, for example, path.txt, or let's use another file, I will create here another file, for example, download.txt. okay, so let's say that I want to download this file from a remote server. So all I have to do here on my local machine, so I have to reverse the order. So I have the source here is the remote, so let me here type the name of the file that I want to download. Here we go, it's download.txt file here, and here I will provide the destination. So here by default I want to download it to the same directory here, which is slash actually, or the current directory. I can just do that, okay, or just if you want to type the whole slash home Kali then desktop. Okay, so this command actually will download this file here, download.txt file from a remote system. So let's execute that and see what we get. Here we go, I have no error, which is a good thing. So let's verify that I downloaded this download.txt file with the ls, and here we go, you can see that I actually successfully download this download.txt file from a remote server. So here all I have done is to reverse the order. So remember, always is copy, then source, and then after that destination. Okay, so it's pretty simple command that you can use in your everyday task in order to transfer files securely. One last thing here, I didn't specify a port. So for example, let me show you here. For example, for this command I didn't specify any ports because I'm assuming that SSH on the remote server here, which is Ubuntu, uses the default port for SSH, which is 22. But let's say that the remote server, for security reasons, doesn't use the default port, which is 22, and use different ports. So you can specify that port here. So is copy minus capital P, then here you provide the port which is running on the remote server. So a lot of people use, for example, 2222. Here we go. So this is the command that you will use in order to transfer files from local machine to a remote server which is not running on the default port on SSH. So remember that this is very, very important also. Okay, so that was just a brief actually introduction to this SCP command that you will find on most of Linux servers, or actually Linux machine, that you can use in order to transfer files and directories securely. And you can also use it in order to transfer files from Linux to Windows, but here all you have to do is to run OpenSSH on your Windows machine, that's all. And you will use the same command in order to transfer files from Linux to Windows server. So as always, I hope that has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing. Bye bye.